Fox Sports.
Well, we saw it many times at St. Louis. Scott Rowland, when he gets hot, he can carry a team, and he certainly did that last night. A wild 9-8 win for the Reds. He went 3 for 5, a couple of home runs, a 3-run shot early on. He also had a double and 4 RBIs. Cincinnati finds himself in sole possession of first place in the National League Central Division. And welcome to Cardinals Baseball with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And over the course of 6 months, Al, as you well know, you're going to have injuries. And with injuries, it creates opportunity. And that's what we've seen now for the Cardinals here last week or so.
Well, most definitely. You got a couple starting pitchers that are on the disabled list. So that's opportunities for 2 rookies in the rotation. Yesterday, Felipe Lopez took a ball right off his thumb. And that's going to be a little troublesome. He could play today, but we saw yesterday as John Jay had his best day in the major leagues when he was filling in for Ludwig.
The Cardinals have Chris Carpenter on the mound. The veteran will face a rookie. But it's the plays of May when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Lewis. The Cardinals in the month of May went 15-14. And let's take a look at the top plays from that month. Left center! Out of here! Makes the play! Oh, goodness gracious! It's a home run. David Cruz. Base hit. Schumacher gets the Cardinals the lead. Back. Stabanoa out to deep left field, at the track, at the wall, it's gone! Oh, and he got him on the outside corner. Please, right field. And this ball is
It's off the wall. Throw to the plate, not in time, and David Freese makes him pay.
I'm all over that.
And it'll be runners. That's
Got both out.
Got them both.
headed toward the middle.
Oh, what a play by Ryan. Oh, my goodness. Brendan Ryan, an absolutely phenomenal play.
A little chopper hit towards third. Fair-handed by Freese to first. David Freese cranks one into right.
It's off the wall. 2 runs will score. And the rookie diving into third.
Runner goes, great jump. And Molina still got it.
How about that? Diving! Oh, what a play! Colby goes down to get it, hits it out to deep center. And that one's gone.
And a swing and a miss. Into left center field. It's at the track, it's at the wall, and it's a home run. Felipe Lopez.
Ludwig cranks it out to deep left. At the track, at the wall, out of here. Krabs heading. Deep left. Grand slam. 1-2 is hit out to deep left. Finally, at home, a home run for Matt Holliday.
Here's a long one, and the Cardinals are going to win it.
He has matched his career high, 12 strikeouts tonight for Wainwright. Brendan Ryan out to deep left. There goes one. Here's a miss. Molina, base hit into right. Another one will score. And what a start here for the Cardinals. That's 6 consecutive hits.
Albert with a long one to left. And it is gone. Here's another one. A shot into center field. Going back. Gone.
And here's a base hit to right. Swung on and it's fair. Lopez hits this ball hard in the right center field gap. And it is down. 2-run score. And the Cardinals lead 7-3. There's the ball inside the bag and into the corner. John Jay comes through again. Fly ball to center field. This should do it. And the Cardinals are a winner.
Top plays from the month of May when we come back to Busch Stadium. We'll take a look at our fan of the game. That's next on Fox Sports Midwest. Night. And it leads us into our Fan of the Game photo contest. And you're looking at a photo of Grayson Meyer and his Cardinals paver brick submitted by Ashley Meyer of O'Fallon, Missouri, the winner of our Fan of the Game photo contest. This week's prize is Fox Sports Midwest apparel from Stiefel and Nicholas Company Incorporated. Every week is a new contest with a new winning photo. All you have to do is head to foxsportsmidwest.com to send us your photos and enter to win. Brief timeout, back with more, and then we've got baseball coming up. The Cards, the Reds tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. In the standings of the National League Central Division, Scott Rowland's 2 home runs led the way. Reds outlasted the Cardinals 9-8, avenging their loss on Monday afternoon. Tonight, the Cardinals look to their longtime ace Chris Carpenter to cool the Reds' molten hot bats and restore the Redbirds atop their perch in the Central. The Reds will counter with the rookie Sam LeCure. It's the rubber game here at Busch. It's coming to you live right now on Fox Sports Midwest. It's what we do. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. By Chevy's Expert Auto Service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. Gorgeous night right now for baseball. Chris Carpenter and the Cardinals trying to make it 2 of 3 over Cincinnati, the rubber game of this series. And a look at Carpenter's numbers presented by Marshall Wireless Sprint. He's 6-1 with a 2.93 ERA.
Has a 7-game winning streak against the Cincinnati Reds. Lifetime 9-3. And if you go back to last season, he's 14-1 against the Central Division.
The Reds are doing it with offense. Cabrera 2 for 10 in this series, but they rank first in the National League in team hitting. And that's hit down the left field line in trouble. Off the wall. And Holiday played that perfectly. It's one of the tough little spots as you talk to the outfielders. That left field foul pole right there, how the wall jets out. Orlando Cabrera with the double. Now we'll see Phillips and then Joey Votto. Scott Rowland had the big night in Game 2. Jay Bruce, Johnny Gomes, Drew Stubbs, Corky Miller, Sam LeCure. So 277 the average for Cincinnati as a team. They also lead in runs scored, hits, and total bases. They have 70 home runs this year.
They're tops in just about every offensive category. They're really swinging the bats well.
And showing bunt, the second place hitter. Dusty knows Chris Carpenter all too well. Runs could be tough to come by, so it would be surprising to see them sacrifice here.
Exactly right. One thing they want to do, just like the Cardinals, get out to a lead. But when Carpenter's on the mound, you expect a low-scoring game, so you want to break on top.
And the bunt, perfect. Freeze only play to Albert Pujols, and the sacrifice is good. So sacrifice 5-3. A look at the Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs. Holiday, Rasmus Ludwig in the outfield. Freeze, Ryan, Schumacher, Pujols on the infield. And it's Carpenter and Molina, the battery tonight. Joey Votto will be the hitter. Another solid start to his year. 326, 11 homers, and he's driven in 34. Didn't play in Game 1, at least didn't start. He's 4 for 5 in this series.
Been experiencing a neck problem, and so he sat out nearly a week. But there you can see his numbers against Carpenter. Not many can have those type of numbers.
Outfield is straight away for Votto. Carpenter could use the strikeout here. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Carpenter has been the first to tell you that he has struggled with his cutter this year, but his breaking ball, as always, very, very good, and his fastball consistently has been around 92, 93 miles an hour.
And I think the cutter is going to be more consistent as time goes along, but the breaking ball, because not having the cutter, he's had to use it a lot more than he has in the past, and it has been a terrific weapon for him. Opponents are just batting .060 against his curveball this season. 5 for 83.
It's an amazing statistic when you think about how good his curveball has been this year. That's going to roll foul. It's 2-2. The Reds have been very good in this spot. Runners in scoring position. They're one of the best in baseball, hitting right around that 300 mark.
Now, Carpenter's only allowed 1 first-inning run this season. Making his team high 12th start.
Can he get a strikeout here? 2 balls, 2 strikes on Votto. Brendan Ryan charging in from shortstop. Interesting to see how the Cardinals play this, as Freeze and Pujols are in already at the corners. Schumacher stays back with a left-handed bat, and then Brendan Ryan at short, charging on the pitch.
I wonder if that's part of that, is just sort of to have that runner up the middle, the position player up the middle running in, as part of the distraction to a hitter, trying to take away from looking at the release point.
Liner and a double play. Cardinals needed that. Ryan charging in. Double play. No score after a half inning. With 20, and the Cardinals catch a break with that line drive double play. Schumacher will lead it off, followed by Ludwig and then Pujols, Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus, David Freese, Yadier Molina, Brendan Ryan, and Chris Carpenter, the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Sam LeCure, he's 6'1", 205, out of Jefferson City, Missouri. Elias High School. A look at his numbers this year. The Reds gave him a huge cushion in his first start. 10+ runs, and he did the rest. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Not a particularly hard thrower. Gets the most out of his fastball. And it has to be a real thrill to have family and friends here today.
Last year, his first season at AAA with Louisville, 25 starts at 10 wins, 143 and a third innings. 2-1 pitch.
His last AAA start was something special. It was a complete game, 1 hitter. Didn't get that first hit till the 8th inning. Earlier in the season, in 8 innings, he had a start where he only allowed 2 hits in that game.
By the way, Al, Armando Galarraga of Detroit, of course you know that name. Armando Galarraga has a perfect game, and he's in the 7th inning. Keep an eye on that. He's through 7 now, we're told.
7. Already 2 in the books this year, right? 2 perfect games.
Recently was Roy Halladay. Votto has it for the out. A look at the defense for the Reds. Gomes, Stubbs, and Bruce. Along the infield, Roland, Cabrera, Phillips, and Votto. And the battery is LeCure and Corky Miller. Yes, Corky Miller back with the Reds, and all of baseball received the news today. And, of course, a good portion of his career spent in Cincinnati, that Ken Griffey Jr. Officially announced his retirement this afternoon.
Immediately, right?
Immediately, so he is done.
Be disappointing for everyone that was hoping to see him one last time when Seattle comes through here in interleague play, but what a career.
count me as one of those. I'll be disappointed not to see Junior one more time. As a baseball fan, just an incredible talent. And by all accounts, which I think it's important to note in this era, he did it on his own merit, his own talent.
Never been linked to any substance abuse or
22 major league seasons, 630 home runs, 7 Silver Slugger awards. The kid had 10 Gold Glove awards. One of the great scenes recent baseball history was he and his dad hitting home runs in the same game with the Seattle Mariners.
All right, think about that. Have a chance to play with your son on the same team. And of course, we remember when he hit his 500th home run here at the old stadium with his dad looking on Father's Day.
I remember talking to Ken Jr. about it. He said his dad was sick of traveling around the country because Junior couldn't get it. Remember? It took him a while to finally notch number 500. And Ludwig strikes out. It's Father's Day 2004, and Ken Griffey Jr. with dad in the stands. I believe this was off of Matt Morris, June 20th, 2004. And finally, that home run number 500.
Senior.
First pitch to Pujols was a ball.
If things go according to plan, this could be a tough outing for the Cardinal hitters, as they're so reliant on video. Only thing they have is what this young pitcher did against Houston in his major league debut. He earned a 15-6 victory.
The thing about Ken Griffey Jr.'s career, very much a disappointment. I think you could classify that in Cincinnati, but what he did with the Mariners was remarkable. As Pujols lines it into left. 2-out base hit. A lot of people believe that, you know, he saved the franchise, the Great Northwest. Never get sick of seeing this, do you?
No. Strike out at the bottom of the strike zone, and the moral victory is that he holds the great Albert Pujols to a single.
Pujols is now 8 for his last 12. And as Pujols and Holiday go, so go the Cardinals, it seems like.
It really does seem that way. Right now, Matt is starting to put things together. He's got a 6-game hitting streak, 12 for 23. Tied a career high with 3 walks last night.
We also took a look at, graphically, Matt Holliday in his career. Historically, this is a month where he really starts to heat it up.
Cardinals have 3 batters in the top 10 of the National League.
Great jump by Pujols, and no chance for Miller. Sore heel at all. Pujols a stolen base. He was leaning before the tour was even set.
You see him just take off and steals him blind.
So the steal for Pujols. He's in scoring position for Holiday. The 2-0 pitch taken way outside. Albert, by the way, now with his 4th stolen base. Molina, along with Colby Rasmus, the team leaders with 6. That's right, Yadier Molina.
Yeah, and Dan, some things are just out of whack already. Just a third of the way through the season. But Holiday, you said how many times has he struggled with guys in scoring position, and yet this season with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, he's hitting over 300.
You see the last 3 games, he and Pujols swinging hot bats. Holiday over 500 in those 3 games. 3-1 pitch here. And a walk to Matt. So the righty the rookie LeCure get Schumacher to ground out, strikeout of Ludwig, and then the base hit by Pujols, a steal, a walk to Holiday, and here is Colby Rasmus. By the way, log on right now to FoxSportsMidwest.com, and our new beat writer, BJ Rains, has a story on Colby at FoxSportsMidwest.com. And what BJ found out was that Colby's father called him and said, "Hey, get your eyes checked. You're striking out too much." And Colby said, "Wait a minute, Dad. I'm just struggling. This is part of the game." He said, "Well, you might want to go get your eyes checked." So he went and got those checked, and yes, there was a problem there. He has new contacts. His vision is better, and ever since then, he's been swinging the bat with greater ease and seeing the ball better, he says.
And Dan, through this little resurgence of the offense, that's one of the keys, is that Cardinal batters are not striking out as frequently as they were at earlier parts of the season. The more balls you put in play, the more chances for balls to find holes.
Runners go, and second and third. Another steal for Albert and a steal for Holiday. No chance for Corky Miller.
Hey, you got to pay attention to those base runners and alter your looks. So Corky couldn't get the lead man. It's a tough running play for the trailer, because he's got to make sure that the lead man is really going. Probably had a better shot to try and get Holiday, but they're both in scoring position here with 2 outs.
The 2-1 lifted into right center. And the catch made by the center fielder, Drew Stubbs. Reds.
7-game winning streak on the line right now against the Reds. And by the way, Dan, that single by Albert Pujols in the first inning, that now ties him for third in the all-time total base list with Rogers Hornsby. 3,342 ties Hornsby for third place in the all-time total bases list.
He's starting to get up there with some incredible names in baseball history. And the folks that played here in St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike on Roland. Big night in game 2. He's 5 for 9 in the series. 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base. Brother Scott Rowland is wearing the Phillies uniform, Cardinals, Blue Jays, Reds, If you're a baseball fan, this guy is fun to watch.
No doubt about it. Plays the game the right way. He's a complete player, offensively, defensively. Has respect for the game. Runs the bases extremely well. And it was fun watching him, whether it was 06 or those 04, 05 teams. Boy, those guys were good.
2-2 pitch. Nice play by Carpenter. He finds it in his glove. Over to Albert for the first out to start the second. Had to look down to make sure he had it.
Carpenter's had trouble all day with his jersey. Top button come down there. He wasn't sure as he speared it, and then had to look in the glove to make sure it was there.
Anytime, Al, I see him reach like that or swing a bat, I get concerned about his side from what we saw from a year ago. Here's Jay Bruce.
Be concerned, but if you're going to be playing this game, you're going to have to reach. You're going to have to swing the bat. You're going to have to do different things. And I know you're always concerned about him pulling that rib cage, but I'm sure he's not.
Off the end of the bat, fly ball into shallow left. Here's Holiday to make the catch. 2 outs. By the way, Galarraga of Detroit, perfect through 8. Perfect through 8. How about all the very good pitching we've seen in baseball first 2 months of this 2010 campaign?
It's hard to figure out, isn't it? As it seems like the pitching is starting to come equal to the hitters.
There's Johnny Gomes. Reds left fielders have been very productive in this lineup. That means a lot of it has been done by Gomes.
Dan, we kind of talked about because of injuries, it creates opportunities for guys to come up, and that's part of the case with some of these young pitchers getting an opportunity to come up here and showing that maybe they don't have the resume or the pedigree, but they can pitch too.
Gomes hit by the pitch. Isn't that the second time now he's been hit in this series?
Franklin got him in the ninth inning in last night's game. And
let me ask you this, Al, and you've been around this game a long time. A guy like Gomes would, from an opposition's point of view, probably get under your skin, but if he was your teammate, you'd love him.
Well, there are guys that way that, and I just kind of admire Gomes anyway. He's just one of those guys that looks like he really enjoys competing. He's kind of a very aggressive style player. So I know what you're talking about, and we've seen a lot of those guys, but he's a guy that looks like he comes to play and jump in a foxhole, and he's in that foxhole with you. You feel a little more comfortable. But he's in there going, the one last night hurt, but this one hurt a little bit more. Right on top of that bruise.
The same spot. Yeah. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Stubbs. A liner down the right field line. It's slicing, and that ball is foul. Catch made by the fan down the right field line. 0-2 the count.
Carpenter not trying to hit Gomes. And, a lot of times hitters take exception to it, but put it this way. If the Cardinals thought Gomes was an easy out, they wouldn't be pitching him in. So they were respecting him, his ability to hit a ball out of the ballpark, just the quality hitter he is. So you pitch a little more inside, and that one took off and got him in the 5.
0-2 the count at Stubbs. He was part of the pregame show. And now he strikes out to end the top of the second. First strikeout for Carpenter. Freeze, Molina, Ryan coming up. Debut just a few days ago, and his teammates really took the pressure off him. They scored 14 runs during the 6 innings he pitched, and 15 total in the win over Houston. Most runs scored by Cincinnati in a game in which the starting pitcher was making his major league debut in 110 years. Doc Newton, of course, Al, back in 1900. Made his major league debut, and Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh that night 19-5.
Facing a little better offense tonight than he did last Friday in Houston.
Freeze out to center. Stubbs makes the catch. Right now at FoxSportsMidwest.com, it's that article that we told you about from BJ Raines, who's covering the team. And also you can view video of Adam Wainwright granting a wish by a bow hunting deer as part of a Catch a Dream Foundation. So they go deer hunting, and that's the wish. And you have a chance to see that. Click the video tab at the top of the screen at FoxSportsMidwest.com. So he takes a youngster deer hunting, and you can watch that video at FoxSportsMidwest.com. There's a swing and a miss by Molina. One ball and 2 strikes. Ooh, just missed to Yadi on the inside corner. And that misses low and away. 3-2 on the Cardinals catcher.
McCure grew up idolizing Greg Maddux.
He was an All-American at the University of Texas. Slowly hit to second. Brandon Phillips up with it. 2 outs. In a Cardinals game in one of Busch Stadium's most popular all-inclusive areas, Homer's Landing. And Left Field Landing feature great field level seats plus food and drinks for one low price. Tickets start at just $72. Get yours today at Cardinals.com. So Freeze retired. Yadi retired with the ground ball. And here's Brendan Ryan. Breaking ball and a strike.
Different variations of that breaking ball, and goes into a couple different speeds.
Up and away to the Cardinals shortstop. Al, we talked about it last night. The numbers show you that when Brendan Ryan is in this lineup, the Cardinals win. Even though he has struggled at the plate, even 200 at the start of play tonight. You saw in the plays in the month right before our first pitch, some of those plays defensively that he gets to, he's saving you runs with his defense.
Tremendous range. And he plays with a little step.
Liner, and that's caught by Rowland. We'll go through the news of the day here at the ballpark with Jim Hayes when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. To watch low-scoring pitchers duel, tons of runs. Cards blow out the opponent. Text game A, B, or C to 432 432. U.S. Cellular text poll. I'll take a pitcher's duel anytime, but I'll also take a Cardinals blowout. Al, you always say you'll stay all night for a win.
Stay all night for a win, but last night I guess would constitute a ton of runs. And a disappointing loss.
That's hit to short on the outfield grass, Brendan Ryan. And he'll take a hit away from Corky Miller. Jim Hayes is with us, and let's start with the big news of the day. And that concerns, as you see, the shortstop playing deep, and I mean deep, and he does that all the time, and that's Brendan Ryan. But Brad Penny edging closer to a return.
Still a while away for Brad Penny. He started a throwing program, some long tossing today. It's the second time he's done that. He says that is part of his throwing program, which will expand depending on how he feels. He expects to do some serious stuff with the throwing program possibly this weekend, maybe early next week, but it's kind of a take it as you go kind of approach to it. Tony La Russa, meantime, says that Brad Penny, he believes, will pitch this month, and not at the tail end of the month, sometime in between, but it is progress.
It's good news, obviously. You've got 2/5 of your rotation out. This is McCure here, the pitcher who's fallen behind 1-2 strikes. You don't know about Loesch and his return this year, and certainly, but Penny, you want to see him come back.
Penny said the good news is I played catch today. He said I don't have a lot of answers, but we're waiting and we're seeing how I respond. And you could tell he just wants to get back to pitching.
Looks like, if I remember right, a 4-game losing streak. 3 of those he should have won. The last one, when we find out he had that lat problem, the back of the shoulder and in the back, which he kept quiet. But that was only really his bad outing that he's had all season.
Little grounder, and Schumacher has it. 2 outs. Traveling this season, take the Cardinals with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cardinals game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Cardinals.com for details. Local in-market blackouts will apply. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. We understand, guys, that Galarraga, pitcher for Detroit, was 1 out away from a perfect game, and the folks in the truck were watching it. Bang, bang play, infield single. Oh, on a call that could have gone either way, they said.
Oh, man. And that's...
Jim Joyce is the umpire.
And, I was just looking at the scoreboard. The Tigers scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. And I just wondered if that was just too long a delay.
Good point. Quick inning for Chris Carpenter. No score here in St. Louis. Jim Hayes with us, Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, and there's no score bottom of the third. Now, the guys in the truck say that Jim Joyce, it looks like he blew the call of a perfect game.
How do you do that? I mean, in a perfect world, yes, umpires, have perfect judgment and they, have to get the play right. But
man,
in a perfect game, you better get it right.
Also told that after the game ended, it was in Detroit, led by manager Jim Leland. He led the charge of the coaching staff, saying something to Jim Joyce, screaming at him as Carpenter is retired for the first time.
They're telling him what a good game he had.
I'm sure. Back to the top of the lineup in Schumacher.
Well, there's still a lot of people believe and that Bob Forster's, I think it was the first no-hitter, that it was an error. I mean, that it was a base hit, but they scored an error on Reese. And there he didn't get the glove on it. He appears to be okay, but now he's awake. And I'm not going to say that every official score has to have it has to be a base hit that with no judgment,
You're saying if a perfect game's on the line, you give him the call regardless. That's what you're saying.
You get the benefit of doubt. Now you find out he blew the call.
Something you live with the rest of your life. And Galarraga may never, ever be in that position again.
It's immortality.
That's a base hit for Skip. Roland was playing in and still almost came up with it. And Schumacher is 1 for 2. We're seeing that Schumacher going the opposite field an awful lot lately.
Well, this right-hander is going to pitch away an awful lot. And when Schumacher goes to the opposite field, he's that much better of a hitter. You still have to center the ball. You still have to hit it through the infield.
So it's a one-out base hit, and in steps Ludwig.
Remember, it was the difference between a perfect game and he loses the no-hitter, and it now is a one-hitter. No big deal.
And that's a pitch taken inside. Ludwig struck out his first time up. Switching gears now back to the Cardinals. Aaron Miles. Al and I were talking about this. No surprise that he got the standing ovation. Was it, and then we're talking about last night, if you missed it, Aaron back in uniform and pinch hit, and the fans gave him a standing O. Ludwig, base hit. Was Miles surprised?
Well, he called it a World Series moment. Hadn't been that thrilled since he was part of the 06 team that won it all. And yes, he was surprised. He said, in fact, he was in the on-deck circle, and Brendan Ryan stopped by and said, "Hey, Miles, do you think they're going to give you a standing ovation?" And Miles said he told him, "Yeah, right." And then Miles said, "Then I thought, I'm trying to concentrate. Why is he bothering me in the on-deck circle?"
But that's Brendan.
It was Brendan. But he was totally taken by surprise. He did not expect to get a standing O. And that was more than just a regular standing O. That was rousing.
Yeah, it was loud, no doubt.
I talked to him about it also, and he said it took him a while to get his heartbeat under control. It meant that much to him, and it was good to see. I said, these fans just continue to amaze you, don't they?
There's Pujols now. Pujols with a single and 2 stolen bases back in the first. Stole second easily. Then he did it again of third. That was a double steal with Holiday. So following the ground out by Carpenter, back-to-back singles. And it's first and second here in the third, 1 out. Jam popped up. This is one of those times that the pitcher will take it. Infield fly rule in effect, and there's 2 outs.
Clear doesn't pitch inside that much, but when he does, he can get good results, and he got one right there when he needed to do so.
Here's Holiday. Walked and picked up his 4th steal. Back in the first, and then was left stranded. So Jim with the off day on Thursday. Tomorrow, pitching can
be rearranged ever so slightly, and Ottavino is one of those guys, right?
He'll go Saturday unless he pitches tonight. Tony La Russa is saying that Adam would be an emergency guy in the bullpen, that they would go to him as a last resort, and that could affect whether or not Adam would start on Saturday, hoping they don't have to use Adam. And Ottavino said, whatever they need me to do, I'll be glad to do it. I talked to him about his start at Wrigley, and he said he hadn't experienced that kind of adrenaline rush in his entire professional career. And he said it was to the point that when he came out of the game, he was zapped. He used the word zapped, totally spent, because the adrenaline was just pumping so much. And he said that's tough to kind of find your groove when you're on that kind of adrenaline rush anyway.
That's why you almost that first time you throw it away. And, you know, you get a better read after your first big league outing, whether it's spectacular, so-so, or even a poor one. You know, because it is such a new experience for you.
He said that. He said, I'm glad that one's out of the way, because he knew. Said he wasn't so much nervous as he was pumped up, and he said he feels like he'll be more comfortable next time around.
And you expend so much energy trying to get your emotions under control to the point where you feel like you pitched 12, 15 innings.
Take it a little bit low, 2 balls and a strike.
Also explains why I kind of ran out of gas a little after the first time through the order.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Holiday. Tapped foul, 2-2. You talk about nerves. I'm sure, as you mentioned earlier, Al, Sam LeCure has an awful lot of nerves and excitement here today. You'd have to figure he grew up a Cardinals fan.
Sure, and
just down the road at Jeff City.
You know everything about what's going on.
2-2, bouncer to short. Cabrera deep in the hole, and Ludwig out by a step at second. We'll see you on the postgame. Thanks. Cardinals baseball is presented by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try Jack's new grilled breakfast sandwich on grilled bread with a cup of the new Kona Classic coffee. So blown call cost the Tigers Galarraga a perfect game. And Carpenter back to work. We're in the fourth, and that's fouled back by Brandon Phillips. See that Carpenter's really dictating the pace right now of this ball game.
Has that presence on the mound. He gets the ball. You know, gets a sign quickly, starts that motion, attacks hitters, usually pitching ahead in the count.
I don't know if you saw this, Al, but Albert Pujols' agent,
yes, I did see
Dan Lozano, has left the Beverly Hills Sports Council, and he will take Albert with him. That's well hit. Right field. Ludwig is back with room to make the catch. Don't miss the Eagles at Busch Stadium. Thursday, June 24th. Field seats available for $99. 4 packs for $225. And 6 packs for $198. All fees included in ticket prices.
To start a new agency, I guess Albert would be a pretty good one to.
I want to just focus on him, and you'll be fine. Take a look at pitch speed and total amount of break with Fox Tracks here. Carpenter, a good guy to do that with. All the movement that he has on his pitches.
But not on that breaking ball.
Just take that one away if you're DVRing it and start now. Oh, that comes up on Albert, stays with it. Underhands to Carpenter. He was shaking his hand. Let's hope he's all right. Bad hop on Pujols. Stayed with it, and there's 2 down.
It's usually a very good playing surface. We've seen recently some bad hops. There was one comes up, looks like gets him up around the collarbone area. As well, just maybe right square in the chest, so you see the shaking of the hand, but completes the play.
And there's 2 down. Here's Scott Rowland. The Pujols agent was asked about the contract of Ryan Howard. He said, well, Albert is on an island all by himself. He said, we do pay attention to those things, but he is in a different category. And he used it a couple times when he said he's on an island by himself.
I think we can attest to that.
1-0 pitch to Rowland. Good late break there.
There's the good cutter. And you see breaks 8 inches.
Two balls and 1 strike.
I'm not sure, this break on there, but that gives you an idea. On his fastball, it broke 7 inches. The good cutter broke 8. All it has to do is just break ever so slightly. And you're trying to hit a round baseball with a round bat. So it's not like it has to have a huge variance. Just that tight little rotation and just break enough to where a hitter can't center it.
Last year, the third base position for the Reds totaled 12 home runs. Rowland has 13 this year. One of those was as a pinch hitter, so he's got 12 as a third baseman to match the entire year a season ago for Cincinnati. You go back to 2006, you get pretty good production there. 24 home runs. 08 was 28, and that was done by Edwin Encarnacion. That may come back into play. That ball's foul.
Scott Rowland always hustles, but that ball started on the foul grass. But when you hit it right off the end of the bat, and you got one of those cut bats, look at the spin. And you're saying there's no way it's going to go a left turn and go into fair territory, but Scotty Ray all of a sudden started to run just because he saw that maybe it would do that. Well, Dan, I guess the last 2 years, Rowland ended up with 11 home runs each year, and now he's got that 13. So obviously that shoulder's a lot healthier.
Most of the damage done from the position since 06 was Edwin Encarnacion at third for the Reds. Adam Rosales last year played 57 games for them and hit 192.
It was a hard 192.
Ooh, was it ever. Deep in the hole, Brendan Ryan. Low throw, picked by Pujols, and Roman is out. Midway through 4, and there's no score. Back in 04, Chris Carpenter gets the win with the help of John Mabry when he doubles in Edgar Renteria to take the lead in the 6th, and the Cardinals never look back. It's our This Date in History presented by Schnucks. Here's Colby Rasmus. He'll lead it off for the Redbirds, and that's fouled away. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Colby. Taken on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Rasmus flied out to center with 2 runners on his first time up. And he looks at a called 3rd strike. And the rookie has his 2nd strikeout of the night. We have our Cap Day coming up, provided by U.S. Cellular. They're available to 25,000 fans, ages 16 and older, Saturday, June 5th. And you can get yours by purchasing tickets at Cardinals.com. Giveaways all weekend long this weekend as the Brewers make their way to St. Louis. Brewers have struggled with pitching.
What happened to the Brewers?
But they can hit. Here's David Freese. One out here in the Cardinals half of the 4th. There's no score. Freese lined out to center first time up. Milwaukee at the start of play, 10 games under 500, 9.5 games out. I don't know about you. I'm shocked to see them that far down in the standings.
I thought their pitching would be better. Randy Wolf, Doug Davis, guys like that. You know, Suppan really had struggled last year, but felt he was capable of riding the ship. Gallardo.
It's a busy night in baseball with the Braves completing a sweep of the Phillies. A near perfect game goes by the wayside because of a blown call. Retirement of a future Hall of Famer in Ken Griffey Jr. Freeze is jammed. Rolling. Easy play. 2 outs. All of a sudden, LeCure is really settled in.
You always want to be nervous, but now you've got those nerves under control. You realize you're in the battle. You're having fun. For whatever reason, we always talk about these first time Cardinals face a young pitcher. They always have trouble with them. And we hope this is premature talk.
Yadier Molina, and he's hit by a pitch after Gomes was hit twice in this series. Is it a matter of time, Al, that one of the Cardinals would be hit?
Oh, you don't know about that, but right inside there and gets him on the elbow pad.
So you don't know about that, huh? You being a guy that policed the game.
Well, I have no problem policing the game, but Bob Gibson always taught me that you don't make sure retaliating a little bit, it doesn't end up deciding the game. So with 2 outs, it does make it a little more suspect. Danny Gomes hit a couple times. So all of a sudden people think they got to retaliate. These Reds got a good clubhouse. They'll keep things under control, and so will Tony.
But if that was indeed intentional, that's how you do it, isn't it?
Part of the game.
I mean, you're not throwing at his head.
Well, most of the time you want to do it like what happened with Gomes. You hit him in the lower part of below the waist, in the legs. You get around an elbow, that can cause a lot of problems. But it looked like Molina had an elbow pad on.
Brendan Ryan has made a couple of very nice plays deep in the hole at shortstop. 8th spot in the lineup. He lined out to Roland first time up. One-oh pitch to Brendan on its way. You would have to think that advanced scouting would tell you keep an eye on Molina, even though he's not one of the fastest players you'll see. But you have to keep an eye on him, and the Cardinals have already had 3 steals tonight.
Yes, you do, and most of the time Molina is just going to pick somebody blind, steal off the pitcher. Catcher has no shot. But
Ryan out to left. This will be caught. No, it goes over his head. They misplayed it. Gomes in left, a huge mistake. Here comes Molina. He will score, and the Cardinals grab an early 1-0 lead.
Johnny Gomes totally misplays the ball. Is that line drive right at you. Sometimes it's hard to judge whether that ball is going to take off on you. If you play it off to the side a little bit, you can see the height of the ball. But he came in, and then he realized he was caught. He jumps up, gets over his outstretched glove, and now you look back, was it a, this is where you talk about, something very harmless by putting the man on, whether it was on purpose or not. And then a misplay, and he comes around to score. Well, Molina, he thinks it's a 3rd out. So that now he reacted to the left fielder who looked like he was going to make the play easily. Instead of putting the head down and just taking off with 2 outs, human nature is to watch. But he circled the bases.
LeCure should be out of the inning, obviously, and it goes down in the books as a triple, right, for Brendan Ryan.
If there's anybody that needed it, it's Brendan Ryan.
One and one, the count on Carpenter. Strike 2.
Brendan Ryan, and halfway trying to explain his psyche at times. Kind of made a comment last night that he's trying to set up the pitcher. But there's no reason in the world with the pitcher on deck, 2 outs, a runner on first base, you try to bunt for a base hit. Even And then you got the 7-time Gold Glover at third.
Carpenter strikes out, 2 in the inning, 3 in the game, but a triple by Brendan Ryan makes it 1-0 St. Louis. Planning your next Missouri getaway, you're looking at the St. Louis Art Museum with more than 30,000 pieces. The St. Louis Art Museum houses work from nearly every culture and time. And the museum offers a full range of featured exhibitions, research library, 4 conservation labs, annual schedule of special events. It's the only permanent building remaining from the 1904 World's Fair. Find out more at visitmo.com.
The Art Museum, right?
That's right.
They had some beautiful exhibits there. I have a picture that had been in my wife's family for over 100 years that was damaged. They recommended a great restorer in Houston, but they took the original frame and they restored the frame themselves. That did great work, and now something that my wife was thought was going to be lost forever is now one of her prized possessions. Did a wonderful job, incredible job of restoring it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jay Bruce. We have Jacob Steele and Blaine King bringing us luck tonight, and a visit in our broadcast booth. 2 balls and a strike. Bruce, Gomes, and Stubbs. That's pulled foul. Carpenter is allowed just 1 base hit. We're in the 5th. Clouds are rolling in overhead.
And it's just so much fun to watch Carpenter pitch. And he's just so good at the preparation before he starts, what he does during his starts, just how the competitive nature he is. But any young pitcher, you want to see how to handle yourself on the mound. And Dave Duncan talked about a pitcher's presence on the mound. Just study Wainwright, study Carpenter. These guys are some of the best.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Tied him up, and he did not go. Carpenter has struck out 1 tonight.
That's the cutter again that has been hasn't had the command consistently all season. And he spoke that he thinks it's getting better, and it is much better here tonight.
Mentioned that his curveball has been terrific against the Cubs. They went 1 for 7 against that. And also a lot of first pitch strikes throughout the year. With his arsenal, it's lights out if he gets that first pitch strike. Hustling down the line, Jay Bruce. Let's take a look at our trivia question tonight, presented by AT&T. Named the only 3 Cardinals pitchers to win 7 consecutive starts against Cincinnati. One of those is on the mound tonight.
That's right. Paulette and Dizzy Dean.
Now, we've had 50 ejections this year in Major League Baseball by the umpires, and certainly they'll be the lead story tonight, you would figure. Potential perfect game and a blown call. But 50 ejections, which projects to about 136 this year. That wouldn't even be close to
a record. Yeah,
the record since they started keeping track in the last 10 years. 2003, they had 274.
I was going to say that give us a reference point as to how many is in a normal season. You don't see, you don't see it that often.
Last time it was above 200 was 08, and that was a number of consecutive years. 200 plus ejections. It dropped down to 168 last year, and again, if you do the numbers, roughly be around 135 to 140. Good pitch. Curveball after curveball, and Gomes is down. Make sure to collect the 2010 Photo Baseball highlighting Cardinals second baseman Skip Schumacher. Kids 15 and under can receive the Schumacher photo ball on Saturday, June 19th. Compliments of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com. Here's Stubbs, who struck out swinging first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Look at the quick pace to his pattern right now. He'll throw a ball or something. He'll take a little time, stretch a little bit, but if he's firing strike after strike, he gets right back on that mound, setting the pace and the dictating.
Another grounder to Brendan Ryan. Couple of steps to his left and makes the play. Stubbs could really get down the line. He's quick. 1-0 Cards. That's a base hit. Schumacher digging for 2. Strong arm out there and right. Look at that throw from Bruce. Oh, what a throw. Jay Bruce, one of the better arms in baseball, comes up firing from right field to get Skip Schumacher. Outstanding play.
Yeah, long run to get over to the ball. Then he comes up. No wasted motion. Left-hander, so he's got that advantage. Gets right there in the throwing position and fires a one-hop strike right there. Skip running all the way, but slides right into the tag. Bang, bang play. Can't fault Schumacher for trying to stretch it into a double. Made them execute, and they were perfect.
One of the things I'm looking forward to seeing is Jim Leland's response to the missed call. Clearly that was a missed call, as you just saw.
Sure looked like it, and he clearly had stepped on the bag. You know, the only thing seeing at the first angle, you thought maybe that he missed the bag, but he was standing right on top of it. And as I said, you know, with an umpire has to be in the middle of that game too. He's got to be pumped up just like every fan. And I'm not saying you just blow calls, but if you get the call right, and in that situation, it seemed like you would be siding with the perfect game.
Yeah. So 2 outs, and brings in Pujols. You would have to think, and Jim Leland has been doing this a long, long time, that, you know, initially, obviously, he is going to be irate. But he's the kind of guy that we've seen that at times, once cooler heads prevail, you know, his comments will be less than the heated moment of when that happened.
Well, let's just put it this way. His comments will depend upon what the first things out of Jim Joyce's mouth were.
Good point.
You know, if he sits there and said, hey, in my mind, you know, blah, 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 this is the way I saw it. Or if he says, you know, hey, I blew it, you know, the argument basically stops. You can chew him out. You can sit there and say, well, you know, blew history. But, you know, what more do you say after that?
Blew the call, bottom line. Yeah.
And in fairness, I'm sure he's, in his mind, he saw it the way he called it.
2-1 pitch. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's not out there trying to be a part of history by making a bad call. Last thing he wants to do is be part of history for making that call that's wrong. Ask Don Dinkinger.
But in the circumstances, I would just think that you've got to think, you know, another perfect game. You know, that all of a sudden you just, you know, wonder how he gets carried away in that and not realizing the significance of calling him safe.
And Pujols is hit by a breaking pitch. Nearly perfect. Perfect games lost on the 27th batter. Whole handful. Mike Mussina with 2 strikes. Remember watching that game. Dave Steve was close. And Jim Leland, as we know, Al, is a very classy guy. Now, we're not privy to his press conference, but when he was with the Cardinals and working as a scout, you talked to him, and very level-headed. And certainly he understands, like you said, the umpire is not out there trying to mess that up. He understands the significance of the call one way or another, and we assume that he just took the high road on it. Then we may get home and see him just go crazy.
Well, I mean, once again, it depends on what Jim Joyce says. You know?
2 balls and no strikes. It's the first time that we've seen the Cure really telegraph the pitch.
Yeah.
What's on tap? Back at it on Friday night. Randy Wolf and Adam Wainwright. Friday, 6:30. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. Budweiser, the great American lager. So 2-0 on Holiday, and tonight Matt has singled and also popped out to the pitcher.
Dusty Baker picked Corky Miller to make the stop behind the plate because he has caught all of Leclerc's starts in the minor leagues. Give him something familiar to work with.
3-0. Anytime that Pujols comes up, or even to an extent Matt Holliday, if he's going right, the back of Dusty Baker's mind, you wonder, as you think about, especially with Albert, the intentional walk. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Holiday. And over the years, Dusty Baker, concerning Mark McGwire and Albert Pujols, he's done it a bunch. And on the other side, Tony La Russa's done it a bunch when you talk about Barry Bonds. Dusty walked McGwire 45 times. He's walked Pujols 74 times. Not all of those, of course, intentional. And Bonds, and you think about the unbalanced schedule, you don't see San Francisco all that much. Tony walked him 65 times. June 20th, fans ages 15 and under receive a plastic bat and ball compliments of Powerade and Chop and Save, perfect for a pickup game with friends and family. For more info, visit Cardinals.com.
Might be interesting, and I don't know, of those 65 times, I think there'd be a small percentage of those were intentional passes.
But Tony really just didn't do that.
Well, because I think Tony feels that his pitchers are capable of pitching around the guy instead of just putting up a flat 4. Maybe a guy will expand his zone, get himself out. But I think he resented how many times McGwire was walked intentionally, or today how many times Pujols is. And at least he will have a little more likelihood to tell his pitcher, okay, pitch around this guy, don't let him beat you.
Colby lifts it down the left field line. I remember back at the old ballpark, and you and I were doing the game, and we couldn't figure out why he was doing that with Bonds. And it was Jeff Suppan on the mound. And I mean, Barry Bonds hit one that put a hole in the facade. And he's trying to pitch around Bonds. It wound up being a 3-run homer. They would go up 6-0 and win the game. The point being, at times, it's just better to say, hey, human error is a part of the game. The guy may miss.
Oh, I remember.
Might as well just intentionally walk him.
I remember Griffey, on like a 3-0 pitch. And the guy got it too close to the plate. And, when you knew the strategy was go ahead and put him on, or, you're pitching around him, but made a pitch where Griffey hit a home run. So sometimes a lot of managers say, instead of giving you the pitcher credit, I'm going to take it out of your hands and just put up 4.
That ball scoots away. Holiday, Pujols advance. It's a wild pitch.
Breaking ball in the dirt, tries to slide over, gets underneath his armpit, flicks it off to the side. Both runners advance. 2-2 count here with Colby.
Al, we've seen a lot of strikeouts from Colby, but we've also seen on-base percentage at .391. That's second to Pujols, and his slugging percentage is second to Albert in this lineup as well. So not bad.
A lot of the on-base percentage is second on the team in walks.
2-2.
3-2.
'87 pitches tonight for LeCure. 3-2 pitch to Colby. Hits it in the air out to left. Holmes makes the catch. We played 5, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. start at steeldealers.com. By Lumiere Casino, your next home could be on the house. River City Casino and Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels is giving away a $250,000 home plus 18-room makeovers now through July 2nd. Visit rivercity.com for details. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And a pitch that's a little bit below the knees. Corky Miller with a look-alike of the Mad Hungarian. Miller retired.
I'm offended.
This season, it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make. It's StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. Visit StubHub.com. You're offended.
Oh, absolutely. Probably the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
Why? I'm waiting.
Oh, Corky's Fu Manchu looks like mine.
Yes.
Mine was much more sinister.
Well, I would know about that. I did see a picture of you earlier before the game back in the mid-70s. And it was a picture from the newspaper, and you were at the zoo. You remember that day?
I was with the wolves.
Literally.
Yes.
You were.
That was a promo where I did Peter and the Wolf with the St. Louis Symphony. Actually wrote an ending, and wrote an ending to it. It was a fundraiser for the symphony. Had a good time. Except for the fact that was when the Big Reds, the Cardiac Cardinals, it was a Sunday afternoon, and they were playing a game against Dallas. That was one of the best games ever played here in St. Louis.
Schumacher. LeCure retired, and there's 2 outs. Carpenter cruising, 1 hit allowed. Text poll, what type of baseball game do you prefer to watch? Cardinals blow out the opponent. U.S. Cellular text poll tonight. 56%.
Still gets me when fans don't appreciate those low-scoring games where one pitch can determine the outcome.
One ball, 1 strike with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-0 Cardinals. If you saw the game last night with Toronto and Tampa Bay, first baseman of the Rays tried to call time. Angel Hernandez, first time in the 9th inning, gave it to him in the same at bat. Second time, did not grant it, and it was a strike right down the middle. And now it is up to the discretion of the umpire to give time. And I think a lot of fans will think, well, batter puts his hand up, he wants time. That does not necessarily mean it's going to be granted.
Exactly right. Sometimes a batter will just say it verbally and not take his bat off or hand off the bat, being ready in case it is not granted.
A fly ball into center. History's Ice Road Truckers are back. Don't miss a sneak peek of the new season coming up. It is 1-0 Cardinals leading Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 6th. Difference in this game, a misplay by Johnny Gomes in left, leading to a run, and that is all that we've seen in the scoring department of this ball game. Chris Carpenter has faced 1 over the minimum. He has 9 ground ball outs.
And he gave up the leadoff double to Orlando Cabrera. He was erased in part of a double play, and he hit Johnny Gomes, and that's only 2 base runners. Double was to lead off the ball game.
When we talk about ground ball outs, and Dave Duncan always preaching that sinker and using your defense, and perfect time to mention David Freese leads all Major League third basemen in starting double plays this year. He started 16. That surprise you at all?
Yes and no. I know a while back the Cardinals were leading in turning double plays. You got a lot of ground ball pitchers. So seeing a lot of 5-4-3s.
2-2 the count. Freese tonight is fly to center and also grounded out to third. But David, as you talked about last night, had a tough play, a couple plays in that Sunday night game against Milwaukee, in Milwaukee, and a couple of errors, and really since then he's been very solid over there at third base. Occasional error here and there, but for the most part he's played pretty good defense.
Everybody considers Scott Rowland the standard bearer. He's got 4 errors on the season, and at this point David's got 7, so he can stay relatively close to Scott Rowland. You know, we'll take his defense, won't we?
Absolutely. Rowland with 7 Gold Gloves.
And those 32 RBIs from David Freese speak volumes.
Here's a 3-2. Couple of really close pitches to take. Leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 6th. Radio Shack, what do you know? Reds closer Francisco Cordero is one of only 11 pitchers to have 100 saves in each league. Of course, he was with Milwaukee and now Cincinnati, also with Texas.
That's our buddies over there.
Yeah, that's right behind us. Yep. Good man.
Yes, he is.
Trevor Hoffman at 596 on the all-time saves list. Mariano Rivera at 537. And Cordero is 26th all-time at 266.
Trying to get the bullpen active for the Reds now. Cardinals had a couple hit batters, 3 walks to go along with their 5 hits. Herrera, little lefty. Andrusik. We saw him make his major league debut, and then he just got called up yesterday, or recalled yesterday.
Now he's a big guy, and then you have Herrera, who's 5'6".
5'6".
1-0 pitch now to Yadier Molina. Runner goes, hit and run, and that's a base hit. Snuck under the glove of Cabrera. And Freese winds up at third. It's first and third and nobody out.
Well, a game of inches, isn't it? You start the runner. Sometimes that shortstop's going to be breaking towards the bag. And in this case, it gets underneath the glove. What easily might have been a double play ends up with first and third. Brendan Ryan, who's driven in the only run of this game with a misplay triple. 11th RBI, and you see 33% of the time. 2 for 6. Brendan's going to drive that runner in this situation.
LeCure, of course, from Jefferson City, and one of 4 players to hail from Jeff City. And there are 12 major leaguers from the state of Missouri playing in the major leagues. Oh, 1 pitch to Brendan Ryan inside, and Carpenter is on deck.
Dennis Higgins was one of those players that played are from Jefferson City. I played with Dennis Higgins in the minor leagues. He was in the big leagues from 66 to 72. Good pitcher, and then he made he's running sporting goods out of Jeff City, I believe.
So the White Sox, Cleveland Cardinals. 2-1 the count. Brendan Ryan with a gift triple back in the 4th. Ball that got over the head of Johnny Gomes. And scored Molina from first.
He hit it well.
Yes, he did.
Misjudged by Gomes as he came in, and the ball took off on him and stayed over his head.
2-1. With 2 strikes, you wouldn't squeeze, but the other thing that factors into this, nobody out. Sometimes you look at it as a way to maybe get Brendan going, because he is hitting just over 200, but his last ball that he hit was hard hit.
And it's tough to defensive squeeze. You know, to hold the runner on at first base, you know, I was watching him in batting practice, and he's really shooting the ball to right field. If he hit a ball to the right side, should be able to produce that run. Hopefully it goes through, and you have the 1st and 3rd once again.
3-2. Pitch number 103. Bounced in the dirt. Good block by Miller. Bases loaded. So good at bat here by Brendan Ryan as he forces the walk. Bases loaded. Nobody out.
Slider gets out there in the strike zone, then runs the ball in underneath him. Back out away. Come back inside. Then he ball down. Could have been called. Then he bounces one for his 4th walk. He's hit 2 batters. And Brian Price, his pitching coach, is going to come out and talk to him here with the bases loaded. Nobody out. Carpenter at the plate. Pitch count is at 103.
Well, Chris Carpenter, as we flash back with the bases loaded, October 1st of last year, he had 6 RBIs in that game and a grand slam.
That's his only home run, and then he turns it into a grand slam and 6 RBIs in one game. He can help his own cause here.
Pitch to Carpenter. Taken for a strike. You saw Troy Gloss on that highlight. He's really gotten hot for the Atlanta Braves.
They're up on the top step trying to have a little fun. One of the things the starting pitchers compete a lot against each other, but one of the things they like to do is who's the best hitter? Who gets the most hits over the year? Now, they're all trying to win that, but this is a time where they're really rooting for one of their competitors to beat them.
0-1 pitch, make it 0-2. Carpenter may have all the runs he needs. He's allowed just 1 hit tonight, and he strikes out. 4th strikeout tonight. And it brings in Schumacher, and Dusty Baker will go to his bullpen. That'll be it for the rookie. Skip with a couple of base hits tonight. Daniel Ray Herrera looks like he's coming in. Five runs, all those have been earned. 1 home run, he's walked 1, and opponents hitting .333 against him. So here we have the bases loaded. It was a walk by Freese to start. Molina single up the middle. Walk to Brendan Ryan. Carpenter struck out. And now it's Skip Schumacher. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Dan, when you got a screwball like Herrera features, many times you have more success against right-handed batters than you do lefties.
And why do you say that?
Well, his best pitch is a screwball. There he threw a slider, so that's going to go away from the left-handed hitter. If he throws his screwball, that's coming into the left-handed hitter. And usually where he's trying to pitch is, you know, if it's a right-handed batter throwing that screwball, you're really flirting with hitting the left-handed batter, and sometimes it takes that best pitch away. So
2-0.
So he'll come out here throwing the breaking balls going away from the left-hander, or the screwball will run away from right-handers, and you know they just have trouble centering that ball. 25-6. Missed him at 165 out of the University of New Mexico.
That's ripped into center. Stubbs will make the catch. Freese will tag up, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
I found earlier that only the 8th sack fly the Cardinals have this season, and that's about 3 on this homestand. There he tries to turn it over a little bit, just stays right down in the middle of the plate and hit hard. So Skip does his job.
So just the 8th sack fly for the Cardinals this year. RBI for Skip, number 13, to go along with this 2-hit night. It's 2-0. flower seeds and cups. That's his little habit down there.
Oh, yeah.
Logan Andrusik, he goes by 6'8", 225 pounds.
We saw him make his major league debut in the first series with Cincinnati. Later was sent down and then just recalled yesterday. Playing for the 10th time. From 5'6" to 6'8".
Here's Ludwig, 2 outs. Ryan at first, Molina out at second. 2-0 Cardinals lead. It's a night when Carpenter Al has been outstanding yet again.
Just come to expect it.
It's 2 runs and it might be enough.
Best winning percentage of any Cardinal starter that's made at least 100 starts. And it's hard to win twice as many games as you lose. And Carpenter's just making it 3 out of every 4 games as he wins.
Made him so good tonight.
Well, he's got that cutter back. And, you know, and the curveball has always been there. It's been a very good weapon. Spots the fastball. Carpenter's being Carpenter.
2-0 pitch, a broken bat. And this may drop. And it will. That's a fair ball. Molina will score. Ludwig a blue base hit to make it 3-0. That may have been right on the line.
Inside the line just ever so slightly. That bat was worth the RBI and another run for the Cardinals. And extends the inning to Pujols. Right off the end of the bat, little slider out there, and Bruce running hard, and you can see just inside the line.
Albert's about ready to hit one of those tape measure shots. The 3 home run day at Wrigley. That was on Sunday. He now is sitting on 12 home runs, 39 driven in. Hit by a pitch in the 5th. He popped out with 2 runners on. You see 2 outs in scoring position. Those runners, they come in to score more times than not. 8 for 14. And Pujols singled, stole 2 bases in the 1st. 2 runners on. 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Holiday on deck. Pujols hits it too short. Not quite that tape measure shot that you were talking about, Al. 2-run score. It's 3-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Dogs on the grill, and the Cardinals having some fun here tonight at Busch Stadium behind Chris Carpenter, who's allowed just one base hit. Phillips, Votto, Rolen here in the 7th. The base hit was the first batter tonight. That was Cabrera. He doubled. Phillips would sacrifice him over, and then Votto lined into a double play to end the inning.
And Carpenter has been in just control.
And a base hit in the center. Second hit allowed.
Yeah, ball got up a little bit. They had Ryan playing in the hole, and he hit that ball up the middle. And it's a ground ball. Get as many ground balls as Carpenter requires, then a certain percentage we're going to go through the hole.
Here's Votto. He's lined into that double play that we just spoke about in the first, and then hard hit ball in the 4th that Pujols had to stay with. Ball that took a bad hop, but he kept it in front and made the play. One ball, one strike. So Detroit, the one hitter by Galarraga that could have been a perfect game and should have been. They win 3-0 over Cleveland.
And we've had, what, 3 no-hitters this year? 2 of them been perfect games. And yet, when Halladay threw his the other day, in the long storied history of baseball, it was only the 20th perfect game. And then to have a third one missed tonight on a blown call.
2-1 pitch now to Votto. Maybe pitching is making somewhat of a comeback, which I think we've seen that some of the very good young pitching has been tremendous this year around baseball.
I don't think there's any doubt. You get some young guys maybe getting up here before they really have mastered the art of pitching, but
Votto hit by the pitch on a 3-1. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. Wound up being a long inning that Carpenter had to sit. He did hit, struck out the bottom of the 6th, but turned out to be a little bit of a long inning. You always worry about that a little bit if a pitcher has to sit.
You're right. This ball gets away from him, gets him on the back of the elbow. But normally, just the mere fact of walking up to the plate, stand that on death circle, just kind of getting your body moving a little bit helps break up that long delay. But we know Carpenter, he gets ready so quick between innings. He waits 45 seconds before he takes his last toss.
And this is a nationally televised game tonight, so the breaks between innings are a little bit longer than normal. And Carpenter, who's always quick to warm up, is out there standing for another 20 to 30 seconds. I mean, he's ready to go anyway. 0-1 pitch. Beauty in there for strike 2.
That good curveball is just freezes hitters. Roland's smart enough to know you're looking for something else, so you swing at that. The only thing you're going to do is pound it in the dirt.
Here's the 0-2 to Roman. How about the Dodgers? They pick up their 3rd straight walk-off win today. Garrett Anderson, a 2-out RBI single in the bottom of the 14th, and they win 1-0.
It looked like there was nobody in the stands.
It's the first time since 2001 a team has done that in the big leagues. 3 consecutive walk-off wins. Arizona is reeling. They have now lost 10 straight.
And maybe you look at that and kind of the way Cincinnati has come from behind so many times here. Maybe an indication some of the closers are not having successful years.
Trevor Hoffman
comes to mind.
Yep. Been removed from that role. And I know you're pulling for him to get to that elusive 600. He's 4 away.
Started somewhere about 11 away from the beginning of the season. I think he's blown at least 5 games.
2-2 pitch. Rowland pops it up behind home plate. Scott Rowland, a pair of home runs yesterday, and we know about him. You have to be careful. 13 on the year, 36 driven in.
Yeah, Scotty having a lot of fun right now. You can tell he's healthy, he's fun, he's renewing a lot of acquaintances, and it sure helps when you can be productive.
2-2. Big pitch here with Jay Bruce on deck. No activity in the Cardinals bullpen.
Well, the one thing, the Cardinals really hoping Carpenter can go a minimum of 7 innings of this ball game. They would love to see him get a complete game, but here's one of the pitches that we're going to remember in this game right here as he steps off.
Runners go on to 3-2. Base hit, pass right into left. A run will score. It'll be first and third, and still nobody out. Brendan was screened. That's a play that many times he'll come up with. It would have been very tough to make, but it looked like he couldn't find the baseball, Al, as Phillips did a nice job blocking him.
I think that's an accurate description. Ball getting up a little bit in the zone, hit hard to the left side. But from that angle, you couldn't tell. You saw Phillips jump over the ball, but that's how much we felt he was screened there at shortstop, with the runner jumping over the ball, and it was hit sharply. So once he really picked it up, he really didn't have much time to react.
So the base hit, RBI for Rowland, is 37th. Pitch count at 88 for Carpenter, the rookie. McCure had 106 pitches.
Over last night's ball game, Ryan Franklin went 2 innings. A couple factors. They wanted to make sure he got in that game because he hadn't pitched for quite a while. And then the other aspect was Mott and McClellan were just emergency only. That game had to go into extra innings, and Tony really did not want to use them, period. And now Mott, as he's gotten some rest the last couple days, now will get up. All those guys in the bullpen have been, it's not pitching every day, but 5 out of 6 days, 5 out of 7 days, something like that. And Tony and Dave Duncan very, very cautious with their bullpen, and particularly those young right-handers.
Bruce has grounded out to short, also flied out to left. The 2-0 pitch, here it comes. Ooh, he had a good rip.
The ball's starting to get up a little bit. And usually the ball becomes more hittable. The ball at the lower part of the strike zone produces that ground ball, double play. The ball up, becomes a line drive to the outfield, or leaves the ballpark.
2-1 pitch. In there for strike 2.
I didn't like the call, but it looked like it caught enough of a plate. We'll see if it is a bit inside. Inside.
The 2-2 with 2 runners on. Count goes deep again. Got Johnny Gomes, who's on deck. He'd love to atone for the misplay in left. Runners scored 5 out of 12 times in this spot for Jay Bruce this year.
Can't strike him out.
Here's a 3-2 from Carpenter. That's an out. And Rowland could not avoid it. It's an out. And the runners back to the bag.
Cardinals really catch a break because the runner at third obviously would have scored. He has to go back to third base. And as you said, it's an embarrassment for a ball player to get hit here. But Scott Rowland, he tries to do everything he can to get out of the way of that ball. That ball was just tracking him as he just starts to break. And he's trying to get out of the way, but the ball came up on him.
If you're wondering how to score it, it goes to the nearest fielder. So that's Pujols goes down as 3 unassisted. And it's 1 out. And now Carpenter would love the double play here.
It's also a base hit for Jay Bruce.
Boy, what a break. The former basketball player, Scott Rowland. That's some agility, huh, for the big man?
Well, we've talked about some of the bad hops we've seen recently, and that one took a bad hop on him, and he still got up in the air, but couldn't elude it.
One and one. Now, I'm not sure if that did take a bad hop. That was just a hard hit ball. The one earlier
got there so quickly, it was hard to tell.
Yeah. And that ball was smashed.
Got a good base runner. You know, he saw it. He just couldn't get out of the way of it.
Gomes 459 with runners in scoring position. The 1-1 pitch.
Arthur Rhodes warming up for Dusty Baker and the Reds. And they have some capable arms of shutting down the Cardinals. So imperative to get out of this inning with the lead.
That was appearance number 803 last night for Arthur Rhodes. 803 appearances. 1-2 pitch. Two balls, 2 strikes. Gomes hit by a pitch in the second, struck out in the 5th. 0 for 1. There's a couple of those breaking balls, Al, that have been up.
Yes, they have. Gomes noted as a fastball hitter, but anyone can hit hanging breaking balls.
A 2-2 pitch. Here it comes. Gomes, a swing and a miss. He's now 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts against Carpenter in his career. Biggest strikeout for Chris of the night.
There's the curveball, and this time he comes up empty. His second strikeout tonight. Now, he had made some pinch hitting appearances against Carpenter, but this is his first start.
Laboring a bit here in the 7th with 27 pitches, 100 total in this game. Here's Stubbs with 1st and 3rd occupied. Ball 1. Stubbs tonight struck out swinging. That was in the 2nd inning. And he also grounded out to short. Hitting 360 in this spot. Outfield is straight away. The 1-0 pitch. Foul back. That pitch at 93 had a little extra for him.
Yeah, still good velocity.
One pitch. 2-1.
try and beat Cincinnati for the 8th consecutive time.
In the air, shallow right. Time to stretch. Carpenter gets out of the jam. Reds pick up a run, and it's 3-1. The Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Grant Sheed qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit Suntrup Hyundai or St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Holiday, Rasmus, Freeze, 3-1 Cardinals, bottom of the 7th. Andrusik still on the ball game. Third pitcher used by Dusty Baker and the Cincinnati Reds. Reds will have an off day tomorrow. They'll play Washington this weekend. Cardinals off day tomorrow. Welcome Milwaukee to town on Friday night. We'll have that ball game for you. 5 of the last 6 at-bats for Matt Holliday have resulted in a walk.
He tied his career high with 3 walks last night. He's walked twice here tonight.
Hits this out to deep left. At the track, at the wall. Carey. It's out of here. Solo home run for Matt Holliday. 6th of the year. 4-1 Redbirds. And we have a winner in our long drive inning sweepstakes. Congratulations to Grant Sheed, our winner in the Hyundai long drive sweepstakes. We'll see you at the end of the year, Grant.
Holiday extended his hitting streak to 7 games, and he knocked out Andrusik for this one swing of the bat. Pitch up in the zone and not over the plate, got the arms extended, high towering fly ball into the Reds bullpen. And we'll see who emerges from that pen to be our next pitcher for Dusty. It's Arthur Rhodes.
Holiday, the home run, and it's 4-1. Let's take a look at our Hardy's Prime cut of the game. Matt Holliday, his second home run here at home this year, and now with 6 on the year, and a total of 24 RBIs. Arthur Rhodes is into the ball game. This is appearance number 804 for Arthur Rhodes. So he is 3 back of Nolan Ryan.
24th appearance this season. Very good ERA. Still gets it up there at 40 years of age. Late in the ball game with Cordero, their closer, but Rhodes and Massett, when he's right, can really shut down the opposition.
Ball stays down to Phillips, makes the play, gets Colby by a step, and it's 1 out. David Freese with 1 out, nobody on. Freese has walked and scored. He's flied out to center, also grounded out to third. You have a big charity coming up, Al, don't you? Event?
Got a little event coming up this Saturday. Shelly Shindig at the Ballpark Saloon. Shelly Spitzer, a nice young lady that single mom at 3, was diagnosed Christmas Eve with breast cancer. Already had a double mastectomy. With the economy and everything, she's a teacher was a teacher at a Christian private school. They did not renew her contract, so really having a tough time. So this weekend, or Saturday, from 11 to 3 at the Ballpark Saloon, we got a lot of items out there for.
Good play by Votto.
Yeah. We do a lot of. I think silent auction items, you know, we have the batting cages going, so kids are invited to come out there. A lot of memorabilia out there, but let's help this young lady out for this terrible cause. There you see the line drive that Votto spears. And, you know, Arthur Rhodes is kind of acting a little slow out there. I noticed after the ground ball to the right side from Kobe.
He's limping a little bit, too.
Yeah, he just hasn't looked quite right. I know Miller went out halfway one time. And this time, after the line drive off the bat of Freese, he went out to talk to Rhodes. He's looked in the dugout. But when you're 40 years of age, you appreciate every moment you can wear that uniform and be able to compete.
I think you're right. There's something not quite right with Rhodes. That pitch was up. He walked very slowly then around the mound, and it looked like he was limping just a bit.
And you'll find out at 40, a lot of things hurt.
Find out at 36.
Well, don't be so, think you're so young and play basketball in the afternoon.
1 ball, 1 strike. I know Aaron and Tom Mauer are looking forward to that fundraiser that you have this weekend. I'm sure they'd love to see both of us.
Well, I know they would.
Apparently, a few of the emails you've gotten have been really supportive.
Of you, Dan.
I've seen them. Here's a 1-1, and that scoots away from Molina. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's a great cause, though, this weekend at your Ballpark Saloon from 11 to 1.
No, 3. 11 to 3.
11 to 3. Two and 1 the count here on Yadier Molina.
She also faces 2 more surgeries this summer.
And I saw that all the guys had signed a lot of memorabilia, baseballs and jerseys and whatnot, so it all goes to a great cause. Would it surprise you if I told you that Henry Blanco has actually had a higher caught stealing percentage than Yadier Molina since 2004 when Yadi came to the Cardinals?
No, because that's why we always put it 2005, because Blanco is considered one of the finer throwers, but I don't think even as good as he is, he's not in the realm of Molina.
Blanco is at 42.5, Molina 42.4. Right. Then you have Jose Molina, David Ross, and Gerald Laird. Hits it out to deep right. And the catch made on the track. Arthur Rhodes, scoreless inning. Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. By AT&T Uverse, a better TV experience. Visit att.com for details. And by Bank of America, Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Matt Holliday with a solo home run, and now is 6 on the year. His 24th RBI to go along with a couple of walks. And the Redbirds have a 4-1 lead over Cincinnati. Carpenter back out there, and his pitch count is at 104. Their last inning, it was close to 30 pitches, but he'll go back out there here for the 8th.
Well, we know he's a warrior, and I think because of the situation, you're at 8, 9, and 1. You have a pinch hitter. Looks like that Lance Nix is on deck after Corky Miller. I would suspect that, and they have Kyle McClellan thrown in the bullpen, that they're going to keep a very close eye on Carp, but hopefully he can get through this inning.
It's a foul ball.
Some guys, after they labor like that and they have a lead, they'll relax, but not Carpenter. He still feels like he's really a tremendous pitcher and a manager's dream, because we know how competitive he is.
C. Hernandez is. Go ahead, Al.
But I was going to say how competitive Carpenter is. You know, he wants to be out there, but when his manager comes out and says, "You've had enough," he doesn't question. You know, he doesn't lobby to stay out there. He understands. But as long as he's on that mound, he's going to give you everything he's got.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. I always get a kick out of when you see a coach or a manager go up to a guy like Carpenter or somebody else that's out there at this level, and they say, "How do you feel? You want to come out of the game? Can you stay in there?" Well, without question, these guys are going to say, "Yes, I'm ready to stay in."
Not all of them. Carpenter is going to tell you that. And there's the little cutter right there. And shows it's outside, but he gets his 4th strikeout. And now Lance Nix.
Now Lance Nix hitting from the left side, and 1 out, nobody on. 0 for 2 in this series. This time last year in a series against the Cardinals, he just crushed the Redbirds pitching.
He is not the same hitter right now as he's been struggling. He's hitless in his last 12 at bats, the longest skid of the season. And when we were in Cincinnati last, he was on the not on the disabled list, but not able to play.
Colby on the move, so is Holiday. Matt's got it. 2 away.
Going back in between innings, Dave Duncan talked to Carpenter, and you know his conversation. Do you want to go back out, or you had enough? And Carpenter all of a sudden understands that there's some got a little stress in that bullpen. So the manager is hopeful that he can give you a minimum of 7 innings tonight, and Carpenter's going to tell you, I'm good enough, I'll give you a lot more than that.
Liner to left. This should help. Holiday there. Carpenter through 8. 4-1 St. Louis. The lead, bottom of the 8th, and interesting to see this. Carpenter due up second, and apparently Al looks like they'll let him go out and pitch in the 9th, and this is the Home Depot doing more on defense. Carpenter looking for the ball, and he's got it.
Speared that ball earlier in the ball game, and Carpenter, you never have to question if he understands his responsibility. But Ryan Franklin pitched 2 innings last night. He more than likely you got the off day, so if Carpenter can get a complete game here, then you've got a really well rested bullpen for the upcoming series.
So here's Brendan. He'll lead it off. Del Rosario, we saw him last night into the ball game. Dusty Baker, another pitching move here.
He was recalled yesterday from Louisville when Mike Lincoln went on the disabled list, pitched in last night's game.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brendan, the RBI triple back in the 4th. He's also walked. RBI his 11th of the year. And that's a fair ball. Digging for 2. A triple, a double, and a walk.
Just playing off the line, getting inside the third base line for a double, and
Now we're seeing him do that more. You know, Roland playing off the line, certainly that's the book I would guess right now against Brendan Ryan. And when he was not going well and wasn't right, a lot of flares to right field, you know, not an aggressive swing. And now we're seeing him on inside pitches, able to turn on those pitches, and it's turned into extra base hits here tonight.
He tried to change his approach, and Hernandez is a good thrower. Better than Corky Miller. We'll try and keep Brendan Ryan close there as they've got the sacrifice on. Now they're going to send up a pinch hitter. When the man in scoring position, John Jay is going to pinch hit.
Have fun telling Carpenter that.
Well, like I said, you know, he's the kind of guy that when his manager says you're through, you know, he accepts it, doesn't question it. Get the handshakes, and he did what the Cardinals needed. They didn't even go deep in this ball game, and 8 innings, 4 hits, only 1 run allowed. And the Cardinals have a chance to pad that lead right now.
Really gutted through that 7th inning that was close to 30 pitches. Wound up being a fairly easy 8th for him. And now John Jay. So Franklin with his 2 innings last night. McClellan could come in and finish this game off. Looks like that'll be the case. Only play is to go to first. Jay gets the bunt down. So sack 1-3 on the play. Chance for Schumacher to pick up another RBI. He now has 13 with a sac fly in the 6th. Tried to stretch a single into a double in the 5th, singled in the 3rd, and grounded out in the 1st.
And they pull the infield in for Schumacher, who has a pair of hits and a sac fly. That's a big insurance run out there at 3rd.
And the ball gets away, but Brandon Ryan elects to stay put at 3rd.
And I think he probably made a wise decision.
I agree.
You know, as initially you want to come, and Brendan is so aggressive, and he does a good job. And what he reacted to is that's that brick wall back there. And sometimes it'll hit flush against that wall and bounce right back to the catcher. And sometimes it'll hit one of those signs and go askew, one left or right. Sometimes it'll hit off that brick and come right back at you very quickly. Thought he made the good decision to stay.
Infield is drawn in. 2 balls, no strikes on Skip. Crowd of 39,295.
That infield in, and we've seen a lot of little quails and flares that maybe would be caught by an infielder playing back. Now become a RBI base hit.
Three balls, 1 strike, 1 out, runner at 3rd. Wolf and Wainwright on Friday night. Three-two pitch. Skip pulls it foul. With the win tonight, Cardinals would go to 31-23. Identical record with Cincinnati. Those two would be atop the Central.
And then, Dan, the Cardinals and Reds would have 6 more meetings.
What amazing.
They'd be all in the late in the season.
We've had 12 after today. 12 games between the two teams and only one series against the Cubs.
So we'll be playing the Cubbies a ton in the second half. We still have 2 more visits to Chicago, and they come here twice. I, for one, do not like the fact that it appears Cardinals and Cincinnati are going to be fighting this out all season long, and then just to have so few games the second half.
Tough play for Cabrera in the hole, out at second, and a double play. Nice turn by Phillips. The Cardinals cannot capitalize. Sends us to the 9th. McClellan coming in. It's 4-1.
Cardinals as we go to the 9th at Busch Stadium. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Cardinals Live, Pat Harris and Rick Horton standing by. Carp is sharp. They'll look at that. We'll get Tony La Russa's post-game thoughts and a perfect game controversy in Detroit. That and more coming up after the game. And as Kyle McClellan comes on to pitch, we go back to the booth and Dan and Al, guys.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And we'll hear from you on the post-game show. McClellan in. 4-1 Cardinals, and McClellan in relief of Carpenter, who was spectacular again with 4 strikeouts, 4 hits allowed. He had faced 1 over the minimum for the better part of this game going into the 7th inning. Here's Phillips. First pitch is pulled foul.
Now Kyle been used a lot lately, so he was off really was only to be used. He and Mott last night in an emergency situation, and Tony really didn't want that game to go to extra innings. He wasn't sure who was going to pitch. He was going to have to pick one of them. Thought it wasn't fair to either one.
Breaking ball into center, 1 away. Turn to our player of the game, presented by Budweiser. No surprise here with Cardinal starter Chris Carpenter. And his night, very effective once again. Carpenter, if the Cardinals hold on, will go to 7-1 with an ERA that is under 3.
He only struck out 4. He gave up 4 hits. He hit 2 batters.
Colby's got it.
McClellan does have 4 career saves. 3 of those 4 were last season, 1 in his rookie season of 2008.
So Carpenter, our Budweiser player of the game, and a look at his line tonight. Al, inevitably, quickly, just a note on the blown call. You know you're going to hear from people saying instant replay. The game of baseball.
No doubt. Nope. Beauty of the game is the human factor of the umpires.
We'll have more on that coming up in the postgame show. A look at Chris Carpenter's night.
Kyle McClellan, as I said, when he has his rest,
Nasty.
very nasty, and I'm glad to see him here in the 8th or in the 9th spot getting this save opportunity. We always talk about Boggs and Mott getting those opportunities, but don't forget about Kyle McClellan. Very capable, and probably has and definitely has more weapons than the other two.
Cardinals win. Strikeout of Roland. 4-1 the final. Carpenter picks up the win. He's 7-1. The Cardinals pour out from the dugout. They are tied now with Cincinnati at 31-23.